How are you?
Is it cold out?
It's freezing. Getting cooler. Supposed to be a nice day tomorrow.
Well, that's good. We'll be indoors.
I'm happy enough with that. Oh, it's official.
Sitting in the middle of my driveway, just looking up at the house. And we went to the police one. Yeah.
That sounds about right. I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be nice every day, so I didn't really have to be looking from the inside. Well, I kind of thought, I think we got an hour if we better back to the ways. They're kind of slider. And I go, probably, or probably shouldn't be in the other tomorrow.
Not touching at all.
That'd be so nice when it's over. You probably have never signed this before, so.
What?
You probably have never signed this before, right? So what
pretty
it is,
self-explanatory.
yeah, well, what happened was, the town gets a property deeded to them. There's an extra step that's supposed to be made, and no one's advised me of that. So I didn't feel too bad because I had to do this with 5 of them, but Gwen said to do it the last few years too, and she knew what to do. And then that is, most of those abatements are because the property's conveyed. And again, once I went on, and I was never told that you need to unclick the penalty for them, because if it's anywhere between February 1st and April 1st that there's a conveyance of property, we should automatically unclick the penalty because the previous one put a second penalty in, and it's happening because the penalty's going against the new owners, which is not fair. And they don't know anything about it.
Hey, how you doing? No, we're supposed to be getting.
Good, how you doing?
What will you do? So much more names.
I'm not saying I think it's outrageous, I'm just saying it's so spooky.
I've seen that one long,
Yeah,
just that little bit.
yeah,
I don't know what we could do to get out of it.
right, nothing, it's just, yeah.
I seen it.
Yeah, one range basically killed 1,000 bucks. Just a tree. You need more logging, right along the edge of the road. Long, narrow logging jobs. I'm assuming you saw that she just got this. It's Claudia's. No, it's just an FYI. Makes it difficult for yeah, they're not asking for it. They're not asking for a signature. No. We'd be putting that there's one other company that we can do, there's two companies that we can do besides that. this is the best price between them. One is off, you can't put it in the same category as Echo Meals. And the problem with that is they basically take your risk burden. The problem is that we have to provide the equipment, transport, we have to own our own containers, we have to own a vehicle, lease a vehicle to run this stuff back and forth. And that's just not something that we're set up to do right now.
This is the only outfit.
Well, it's, let's put it this way, no, it's not the only outfit, but the other one we got is Waste Management Casella, to do anything like that. One of the advantages is they're going to be close to each other. One of the primary advantages is the history of the house. They treat us, for a small town, they treat us pretty quickly. Every time we got a concern, they're kind of with a stand up. There's no reason to want to switch words.
Just don't want to get sued either.
Yeah.
You know?
So if it comes to that, I'll take the first hit. Leonard, you did that, so this was, you're just asking for permission to apply for that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I signed up for trucks with the grade that says no braiding rub, no wood stands or anything. Randy drive it. Joe Steve.
Yeah.
remember going to the store with my boys and getting those, plastic, and they asked you if they got too cold, they cracked.
Historical second Monday?
Yeah. 7 o'clock.
Yes, yeah, okay. Just, no, I need constant reminders to remember to do that, because it's only once a month. It's easy to forget. I didn't really have any paperwork or anything going on, because they just kind of got done doing everything they were doing, which is rewriting.
Remember to say that.
Yes, that's my start. So you didn't get it?
Well, we started out, yes, and it's rounded, you know, get through it. In a row, it's on the fields, so that it was making. I don't know what that is. So,
Yes, exactly.
We have an action folder.
No, we didn't. This would have gone in, I'll explain that.
No.
But this just came in, that was a phone call.
Well, being was actually another, I was here today. Well, it's on the wall.
Yes, that was done on the 17th.
Look at these things, and you know, none of these, this is all getting rid of trees and branches that came down from the storm. That one storm cost us $900.
This side is round and this side of the ship is over there.
That's right.
Barbara and Tom must be away.
It's over in those chairs.
I said, well, the ship is tipping this way because there's more people on this side of the ship.
Like that island in Comeau, it's gonna capsize.
Thanks. I was thinking of, I just said shifting, not capsizing. Are you gonna save us if we start to capsize?
I'm going up the window.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, really, good attitude he has, huh? Let's speak with his boss. Fire chief. Tell him I said.
He said, "Well, see you later." English, right?
That's a thank you from the elementary school children to Claudia and I, because we gave up
Oh,
trees
oh,
for Halloween.
oh.
So they took our picture and they put it plastered it right there.
I wonder what that was.
Yeah, candy corn, card. Wow, what an honor. John, wants us to catch up, so you check it up on me.
I didn't sign that because I wanted to make some changes.
Well, what do you want to do?
I want to make changes to that.
Oh, yeah, we can bring it up. Everybody, we're doing this. Oh, I'm sorry, Lenny. I beg your pardon. Never mind, never mind. I jumped the gun.
Lost your head, didn't you? Reading as fast as I can.
I just saw the police car, that's when they used to start.
I've always been slow.
Same here. Yeah.
It takes me 2 hours, walk 60 minutes.
So you're the reason the football game, that's why I'm there.
She's down in Florida. Good. We were down to the boat down in Florida. And flying back. Yeah, because we had to fly back.
Yeah.
$13,000 is getting off cheap.
All right, everybody.
Got this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You gotta print it up. Lawrence, I know you had a question on the minutes, so I'll jump ahead and just make a motion that we accept the manifest that was $13,385.25. Second by Lawrence. Lenny, any discussion? No. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. And you had a couple concerns on the minutes?
Yes.
Under what heading? Please.
On the, says during the conversation, Mr. Selectman Edwards stated that he didn't believe the Selectman's office received this many requests. I didn't say that. I just went in and asked what she done, if she kept the emails and all. I didn't ask how many or anything else. All I asked was if she kept them.
That was what she stated.
Yeah.
That's what she was stating that you said. But you want me to strike that as to a comment that she made?
Well,
Because it was Claudia
I'm
making
saying-
a comment.
She's saying something that I didn't say.
Okay.
Lawrence, my assumption is that'll get referenced in this week's minutes, because,
So that's fine.
okay, all right.
And then the other one was,
Same page?
over 2 weeks because the office doesn't have the material in their possession. Bill Pycott stated he has wanted the written request. Well, I did take that Elm Street Bridge maintenance thing home. I went in the office and got the thing because Henry had the wrong figures on it. He had the figures for the bond and the figures for the maintenance was 31. And I did. I took it home and I told Claudia that. I said, if you need it, I'll run it back up to you. And she said, that's okay. So she knew that I had that, so she knew where to get that if she needed that.
Anything else, Lawrence?
That's it.
Okay. Do you want to sign that? Because those corrections will show up in this week's minutes. Well, this meeting's minutes. Thank you. All right. Well, then, with the understanding that the concerns that Selectman Edwards had will be addressed in this meeting's minutes, I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of November 1st, 2016. I'll second that. I have a second from Lenny. Any other discussion, Lawrence? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. So that's all in favor. All right. Public comment, as always, keep it polite. If it's a concern with a employee or somebody we're doing business with, contracting any business with, please submit it in writing. Other than that, state your name and whether you're a resident. Try to keep it brief. So we're at public comment. Taking advantage of this small lull, we'll move along. Seeing none, that is. I'm just going down the list here, proposed work sessions. I still have not heard from White Mountain Survey. I have it on my list to get in touch with them probably on Wednesday or Thursday, see what the story is on that. You guys, did you get a chance to look over the little sort of draft contract thing I wrote up on leveling waste on private property so that we can deposit more road waste in the future? That's it. Well, the reason I was asking is that what I would do is move that down into sort of a work session at the end of it, but I have it on the computer later on. I could get copies printed up, we could just look at it.
I just wanted to point out, I did have an issue with the emails that were sent out on
Yeah,
Friday to the two gentlemen. There was a problem with going out here because they were sent, confirmed that they were sent, but they didn't receive them until
Okay.
yesterday afternoon.
all right, okay. Well, as I said, I'll move that down and we can make a
Okay.
decision on whether or not we want to work on that a little bit more. I mean, it doesn't strike me as that we have to get an answer to that question right away, but it's just something that we want to make sure we're all on the same page with. Having, reviewing the budget, road and actual and what we have left and the work left to do with the money that's in the actual road budget, I think will be all right. Part of that issue is a little later on, it comes up. I have been in touch with Watershed Alliance. We're doing some work on Bonnyman Road to try to reduce the amount of infiltration that goes into the lake, and there's an engineer involved in it, University of New Hampshire, Watershed Alliance, and our road people. I finally got a call into the engineer out of UNH that's in charge of this project to find out whether or not they need to be on site when we do the work, but I haven't heard back. So I'm still trying to work on that. When I talked with Bob, he said that if he was just to go up and do it, having looked at the plans, he figured it'd be about $3,000 worth of equipment and labor and that, and the Watershed Alliance, is paying for materials. So any materials that we bring into town, the bill for those gets sent to the Watershed Alliance. And I did not get a chance to really do these numbers on the Stevens Road, remaining money on Stevens Road, so we know how much we want to hold over, but I'll get that done this week. The Molly Filbert culvert, I'm still awaiting the estimate. And the Granite Road, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back up. The Granite Road culvert issue, that's part of what the information, you did get the stuff that you asked for, Lawrence? That Mr. Cahalan dropped off. Did you get copies of that?
Yes, I did.
Or did you get a chance to look at it? Because that goes back to that issue on taking, whether or not we're taking the culvert out or what process by which we take the culvert out. The research I did on that, I asked Mr. Battles if somebody was to call him up and contract with his firm to put a culvert in, like the one that is currently installed there, he figures it would pretty much be about $1,000. But it didn't cost the town that much to put it in. Really what we're looking for from the person is, it boils, after my reading of those two documents that we were given, I look at that and there's sort of two choices. We either take it out or he pays the town a reasonable amount of money to leave it in, which is essentially the cost of what it costs to put it in and the cost of the culvert itself. When I talked with Bob Battles on that, he gave me, and granted this was a ballpark estimate on the phone with a minute's warning that he was going to have to give me an answer, that $400 might be reasonable. So after you all's reading of the documents that we were given, do you want a better estimate of what the town should offer this person as the ability to pay for the culvert, the installed
Well,
culvert?
there's two issues here.
Yeah.
One issue is that they only have one driveway per dwelling. So now we're saying if he pays the driveway, driveway for culvert, he can have a driveway there?
Second, all right, so if we took it out, then he'd only have one operating driveway, which
Right.
is the way that the statute reads.
Okay.
If we allow him to purchase it and leave it in there, we're essentially granting him another driveway, which is
Well,
against the
We're
regulation.
not really granting him another driveway.
Right.
He had a driveway there.
Right,
So when you say you're granting him another one, you're not granting him another one.
Right.
He had a driveway there.
okay,
So, but the town ordinance says you can only have one driveway per dwelling.
right,
So you're contradicting the ordinance when you're saying if he pays for the culvert, he can.
Right,
have
yeah,
it.
it's a good point, Lawrence. The other issue, I'll back up a little bit on this, is that whether or not we should even be trying to take it out and stuff like that. And I kind of came to the conclusion when I was thinking about it, is that when we were doing the road work in there was no culvert at the
That's-
time.
yes, that's
Right,
true.
yeah, so that kind of means to me that we need to come up with a solution to this.
I'll agree that we need to come
Yeah.
up with a solution, but
You
the,
just made it easier.
the fact that you're gonna charge this guy $400 for something that we did
Right.
doesn't make any sense.
Right,
We created the ditch. We need to put the culvert in. The town needs to supply the culvert.
well, when you read on the driveway ordinances and stuff like that, a property owner that has a road cut into a town road is responsible for the connection between the driveway and the road cut. And that's, I think, an RSA statute. So in one sense, that property owner, we come in, there was no culvert, we come in to do normal maintenance on a road, and consequent to that, we created a bigger ditch in front of a driveway, an access to property, let's call it that had no culvert in it before. It needs some work in order to continue. The property owner does not have the right to simply fill it with gravel and block off the thing, so a culvert needs to be put in. Again, I want to say the price of $400 is still on the table. I'm happy enough to use it as a conversational amount, but right now we haven't decided whether it's the right amount. I'm still of the opinion that the best solution for the selectmen would be to make the person an offer. I'm using the figure $400 right now because it's the one that's on the table. We may decide that it needs to be more or less, but that's kind of what I'd offer the property owner.
And if you don't pay it,
We take it out, and we reestablish the ditch line that exists above and below the current driveway or the current road cut.
In my opinion, we're fighting a losing battle here. He had a driveway there. We widened the road. By widening the road, we created a 4-foot embankment on the driveway that he had existed.
Right.
So we had to go back onto his property, slope that down so he could drive up onto his property. And then we dug a ditch 18 inches deep. So now we need to put a culvert in there so that he can access.
Right, and I agree with that right up to the point is now he needs to put a culvert in there because what we created was a ditch. We did not remove a culvert to make that ditch. All that existed prior to us doing the work was less ditch.
Yes, but in the beginning, he didn't need the ditch, he didn't need a culvert because there was no ditch there. We created the ditch.
Right, we created the ditch because we were trying to ensure that we create a situation in which we spend less money on maintenance of the road. So it was a normal maintenance process on the road. The way I read the statute from when a property owner wants to have a road cut onto a town road is that their responsibility is to supply the culvert. All we were doing was ditching the road.
That's very true, Henry.
Yeah,
But the thing is, he didn't create it, we created the
right, doing normal maintenance.
He didn't put that ditch in.
Right.
We put the ditch in.
Right,
So now we restricted his property because we put an 18-inch deep ditch in.
Right.
So we need to put the culvert in so he has access to his property. I think we're just
All right.
banging our heads against the wall.
we are, and we're both saying kind of the same thing. I come down on the side is that the town is not responsible for supplying a culvert. The property owner is responsible for supplying the culvert. The town has inadvertently put a culvert in. My motion would be to take the culvert out, agree to take the culvert out, and then discuss what would be a reasonable amount of money to offer the property owner to leave it in. Because essentially, we've used tax money to give access to somebody's property. As a result of, and yes, we did create a ditch, but the ditch wasn't created to block his driveway, it was created to, as a normal maintenance function of the road.
Well, okay, let's redo this. Let's say we go across your driveway, we put an 18-inch ditch across your driveway. Do you expect the town to put a culvert in, or do you expect you should put the culvert in?
Reading the statute, I'd be responsible for putting the culvert in, because there's no culvert across the end of my driveway right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
But if we put an 18-inch ditch across there, would you would you think that you should be responsible for putting the culvert in so to access, or you think the town should be, because they're the ones that are responsible for putting the ditch across
Yeah,
there?
if you'd asked me this a week or a month ago, I'd probably say, geez, I don't think I should have to, but having read the information that we were handed, I would say, yeah, it's the property owner's responsibility to put the culvert in. It's the, Lawrence, the way I really look at it, it's the property owner's responsibility. If they want to access that particular driveway, they cannot do it in such a way that it impedes runoff water. So you gotta put the culvert in. That's all, that's the way I read it, so. Lenny?
Well, he says he had a road there. If he had a road there, he didn't use it. He can't even use it now with a culvert there.
Right.
He can get to the wall and that's it. Where's he gonna go? He can't drive in there. His tree's 8 inches, 10 inches in diameter.
Right.
So
I'm not arguing that.
he's probably abandoned that road, that access, if he
I'm
had
not
one.
arguing that point. The point is, if he had a driveway there and we put a ditch, we widened the road, so we took, I don't know if we took property from him or we took the property that belonged to the town. But regardless, we put a ditch down the side of his property, so we
I
limited
understand
his
what you're
access.
saying, but we're not denying him access to his property.
So if he had a driveway there, then we created the problem. We need to put the culvert in to access his property. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, but we're not denying him access to his property.
All right, any other discussion on this? Because Lenny, do you feel you've said your piece?
Yeah, I mean, you can ask for $400, but
And Lawrence, you and I have said the same thing 3 times, on opposite sides of the question, so now we're really at a point where we really need to make a motion to decide whether or not the town is going to remove that. If that motion passes, then we can have a discussion about trying to figure out how we can offer this person to pay a reasonable amount of money for the work that was done.
Here's the thing, the culvert's already in, right?
Yep,
So we spent money to put that culvert in.
yep.
We should leave it alone right there.
Well, and if, I gotta say that if no one had ever complained and I wasn't made aware of the situation, it would probably stay in there. But somebody did complain and I am aware of it, and having read the statutes, I am firmly under the belief that when a town does normal maintenance on a road, it's the property owner's responsibility to put a culvert in across the end of their driveway, if the normal flow of water is there.
Okay, so if that's the case, we have another driveway just south of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we put a culvert across there. There was no culvert there.
Across the road or across their
Across the
driveway?
driveway.
Across the driveway.
And then we go down a little further, we put one across down at the bottom. The
So
same
we did
time.
it, we made, if this is a mistake, we made the same mistake 3 times?
Right.
Well, that's intriguing, okay.
you can also look at it too, if it's,
Those are existing driveways.
if they wanna put a driveway in, and the roads exist, the ditch is existing, it's up to them to pay for it. But I can see Lawrence's point, we did put the ditch in there, but, so I can't say that it's actually the landowner's responsibility. Yeah, for a new driveway, yeah, you'd have to come get a driveway permit, and it would be required to pay all the charges, but.
Right. Well, I've
But
just,
then you can look at it, we're not denying him access to his property.
yeah,
In the past, we've always put the culvert in if the town raised the road or put a ditch across it. That's all I'm
okay,
gonna
well,
say. It's just,
we've had the discussion, we could put a motion on the table tonight. All 3 of us have the information that was given to us. Having heard this discussion, please reread it and we'll make a decision on this next week. Give us time to think about it. So we'll just move that one along. But you both have copies of the information that was sent out last week. Okay, good enough. All right. So status Molly Filbert, Elm Street Bridge. That's kind of off the table for now. Looking at the granite snow road bridge repairs and everything else, I gotta admit that I have not gone out to a lot of engineering firms and asked them to come in with prices, but we did get, when we did the work through H.E. Bergeron, they did give us basically an outline of how much money to start putting away. Those figures, I'm gonna be trying to go over those this Wednesday, Thursday, and I'll present them to the select board next week, and then we can start figuring out what figure that we want to give to the budget committee, because I have a feeling that as far as future work after Stevens Road is accomplished next year, will either be granite or snow roads, and there's no way in 1 year we're putting away enough money to do either of those projects. So I think we'll fall back on the guidelines for putting money into the bridge fund that we fell in through H.E. Bergeron, which can be considered somewhat independent of the estimate they gave us for the bridge. Because I think currently we have, I can't remember, I didn't write it down here, but we have insufficient funds to do either of the next two projects, so we just need to keep saving up.
Well, the thing is, we need to decide what we're gonna do, Granite Road, or we're gonna do Snow Road. Because we, like you say, we can't afford to do both of them in the same year.
Right.
So we need to decide which one we're gonna do.
Right. Yeah, I got it, personally, the way I look at Granite Road is, I mean, I've said it at these meetings before, I consider Snow Road the more important because it's something that everybody in the town is required to use, and Granite Road Bridge, currently being closed, does not cause a tremendous disruption to a large portion of the population. And as I said, one of the things that most disturbed me when I read on the bridge report is that the Snow Road Bridge is currently redlined, and one of the things the state does with redline bridges is come in and evaluate the weight limits, and we could have the weight limit lowered without actually closing that bridge, which could cause us a considerable problem.
All right, so we should vote on whether we're gonna put the money into Snow Road, or we're gonna put the money into Granite Road.
Well, in one sense, we don't do that. What we would do is we would come up with figures that we want to put into one bridge, the other, or both. We'd go to the budget committee. They would either approve or agree or disagree. The money would go on the warrant, and the town would vote whether or not it's going to raise the money. But that's the way you raise money. But what we do need to figure is what we're going to present to the budget committee and then present to the townspeople. But let me get the numbers on that. I was just looking through the computer today. I had a couple hours I could mess around, and I found that the numbers coming up out of HEB on that. And I'll just try to put them in a little comprehensive order and present them to you next week.
Well, we did have a price on the bridge on Granite Road in Michi,
Right. Just for the culvert itself and...
just for the bridge itself.
Right.
Not the,
Yeah, yeah. And I'll see if I can dig that up and get any other information that we have on bridges, but it's kind of spread out, and I have not in the past spent a lot of time trying to put this into a presentation, but I'll work on that this week and see what we can get done.
Well, I still think that we should vote which bridge we're gonna put the money into.
Okay, Lawrence,
For the-
we don't make a decision on which bridge to put the money into until we raise the money. What we do is we say that, we go to the budget committee and say we wanted $300,000. I'm just picking a number here, folks. $300,000 because we want to put it into Granite Road, and we're not putting any money into the bridge fund for the future of Snow Road. Or we go to the budget committee and say we want to put in this much money, some of it's going to go to this bridge, some of it's going to go to that one. They review it, we come up to the town meeting, and they sit back there and say, tax rate went up a buck, we're trying to keep the budget down, and they vote the money down by half. So instead of put 200,000 or 300,000 in the bridge fund, we put 150, which means we probably couldn't do either project. It is our decision on what money we have to spend. That's the people's decision. Right. And believe me, they're going to want to know what our plans are. So you're right in the sense that the selectmen do need to figure out which bridge they're going to consider a priority. But as far as spending money, we need to raise it first.
That's true, but if we're gonna do Snow Road, we gotta come up with a price for the Snow Road Bridge.
Yep.
And if we're gonna do the Granite Road, we need to come up with a price for the Granite Road Bridge.
Right. Yep.
Or we go with the price that we have, which is HEB, which is way beyond our means.
Right, yes, yeah. And if you would, allow me to try to get some of these numbers together and some of the information that we have on both of them, put them all in one place so the three of us are looking at a spreadsheet on this. And like, as I said, hopefully I'll be able to bring that in next week. And then, Lawrence, we'll have a little more information on which to base our preference. Anything else, Len, on that?
No? We get at prices.
All right. All right, as I said, this first one on my list is trying to get this thing for moving around waste material and stuff like that. I'll dig up my copy of it and we can maybe look at it at the end of the meeting. Molly Filbert Culver, I already talked about that. Library box, I'm just waiting for the ground to freeze. Grant applications at the town hall and library, Claudia and I are still just trying to figure out the best, because we did kind of agree that 1,300 and change was a reasonable amount of money to start looking into grants for the town hall, library, building. But just trying to make sure we're perfectly legitimate about where we're taking the money from. I did inform them that we had made a decision to try to go ahead with them, and we were just trying to get the financial ducks in a row on that. Well, I don't need that in there anymore. Everybody's aware of it, that we have the injunction is scheduled for a court date, 1 o'clock, November 17th, which is a week from Thursday. I did talk about the Watershed Alliance. And, Lawrence, did you get a chance to go up 159 Green?
Yes, I did tonight.
What was your comment on the damage to the town
I didn't
portion?
see anything that was recent. There is some of the very edge of the asphalt that is cracked open.
Right.
I don't believe it was done the other, I mean, I don't know when he was saying, but I'm assuming the other day.
Right.
I don't believe it was done then, but his
Didn't
driveway
look recent to me.
has a pretty good,
Yeah.
you know, so it would probably pave down, put some coal patch on that,
Okay.
those two areas that are broken off
Cool.
so that they don't continue to break.
Yeah.
But I didn't see anything that was recent.
You want to get in touch with Bob on that one?
Yep.
Just have him do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty sure we still have some left, and, you know, we're basically just trying to use up as
Yeah,
much
there
as
was
possible.
still some in the salt shed when I
Yeah.
looked at it.
Okay. All right.
When we did that road in that area, did we put an apron into that?
No,
Residents, okay, just checking.
that was,
That was part of the problem.
Okay, the property owner, we'll wait until the 15th on the property owner with the cellar hole. And the rest of it's sort of long-term stuff, Lawrence, that, you know, making sure we have the inventory for the salt treatment for the salt shed.
yes, I looked that up and that was Consolidac.
That was what?
Consolidac?
Yeah.
And I got it from H.A. Harris out of Port.
Yeah.
Yes. And I only got a 5-gallon pail.
Okay.
5-gallon pail will do the inside of it.
Okay, so you have purchased it?
I didn't know,
Oh,
the
okay.
last time I got it.
Oh, the last time, yeah, okay. So, I mean, but there's no percentage in us buying it now, and storing it
No.
over the winter,
No.
right? Okay, all right. So this one's just gonna hang in there until
No,
spring?
we usually get a delivery from them a couple times a week, so we can get it anytime.
Okay, all right. What was the name of it? Lawrence?
H.A. Harris.
No, well, yeah, that's good.
Oh, Consolidac.
How do you spell it?
Consolidack.
C-K, okay.
It's called Saltburn.
Yeah. Saltburn. And Lenny, that stuff I was talking about with the grant stuff, as soon as that starts to work out and we actually have people come to town,
Yeah.
you definitely get involved in that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Fee structure at the transfer station?
I talked to Mark yesterday. We can't do it tomorrow, obviously.
Yeah.
We got it on the agenda for next Tuesday.
Oh, coming in here?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Going over to Freedom, talk to Cubby, and
Okay, so you're gonna do
Come in.
some footwork between now and next Tuesday?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that, Mark knows about this?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
do you wanna
talked to
try
him
to do it
yesterday.
like beginning in the meeting? So
No, it's just gonna be during the day, we're just gonna go over everything that's,
oh, okay, so
all
you'll
the
bring,
prices that I've got from
oh, you'll
other
bring back
towns,
a
and all the
report then.
fees and
okay,
costs, and I wanna find out what it actually costs us to dispose of it, so.
Okay.
I'm gonna get an up-to-date.
all right,
And on the electrical work, I did get a hold of Dana. He's straight out, but he is aware of the problem at the library and out back, so he'll get to it as soon as he can.
okay. So that's the two lights, library and in between us and the
Correct.
modular.
Correct. yeah.
Okay.
He hasn't been here, has he?
No, he has
Okay.
not, no.
Oh.
And in the folder, did you gentlemen get the cost for the fire module?
Yes, I see that.
Okay, that was the original.
Well, you've already signed it, so. There's that.
Yep.
And I have a picture of that two and a half ton truck here.
Oh, is this the one that the
We were
state?
talking about the alarm system.
Yeah,
This-
this is something that Richard's been looking into. Something about the Humvees are too wide, then there's something about the electronics in them, they don't want to release them,
Right,
so they're not using Humvees for that, they're just using,
okay. So, so everybody's aware of this, is the forest fire warden is putting in for a grant for,
2.5 ton, I forgot the
yeah,
name.
I'm just trying to think, it's a federal excess property grant. And from what I gather is that if you come up with a good enough reason, they give you a really neat truck, right?
Yeah, he said something about that, they found one there is one in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody's already requested for it.
Right.
Applied for it, or what are they, just don't have it yet.
Yeah.
They did find one in New Jersey.
Yeah, but your impression is that if this grant works out, I mean, whether it's this year or next year, we could end up with a vehicle for nothing.
Yes. And I think it'll hit 5,000 miles on or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah, probably hard miles.
Yeah. And the other thing was, that's 9 foot 2 inches, and they measured Randy was with him when they measured the fire.
The skid tank?
This is at the Lods Hill,
Right,
but he said they could switch and put the ambulance at Lods Hill and put this down at the station.
okay, the one that the one that we use for, that we got out of Long Island there? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, the three of us have signed this, it still needs Richard Thompson, the forest fire warden, and Randy Burbank, fire chief signature, so I'll get that back to the office and get him to sign it. Just hand it over now so I can forget. So Lenny, I'm assuming that you're in favor of the possibility of getting a free vehicle?
Oh, yeah.
Do you mind if you stay with it?
No, that's
Put
fine.
it in a folder? Yeah. Okay.
What Cheryle was alluding to was the night security cost of the alarm system.
Right.
For the library. That's what she mentioned.
Okay, and there's a list in here, was that action or signatures?
Mail.
Signature. Mail?
Yeah, it's in the mail.
That amount was only for the library.
Yeah,
So this is an estimate?
well, for the building.
Okay, so,
Just the library itself.
right. So we have this currently, we have emergency lighting and stuff like this, and the way I'm looking at this is a panel that we can insert into whatever existing
Correct.
system we
Yes.
have, so we don't have to start from scratch.
No, we have the, as you call the skeleton.
Okay.
That would be the module, okay.
All right. Well, the big money here is, imagine the module itself, the NAP code. I don't know if I should be reading out the name of the security system that we're putting in. So we have an expansion board keypad, hooking it up to a telephone line, hooking up to, so that it calls for smoke and fire detection, heat detection. Has a pull station for fire. Exterior horn and strobe, interior horn and strobe. Another system sensor wall-mounted strobe, special additional services and equipment.
Point of order, Henry.
Yep.
If that's security related at all, I wouldn't
All right,
discuss
yes, I just,
it.
all right.
You just told everybody.
Yeah, I'm not giving a name. These were fire related, what I was reading. I don't mind putting out that it has fire protection. So that was at a cost of $14,110. I wouldn't necessarily mind putting this in front of the budget committee, but
I'd like to meet with night security and go over it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there that may not,
okay.
like he's got, I don't know, 5 or 6 strobes or whatever, but we need that many.
Mm-hmm. All right, so basically want to try to get together and have the discussion when I mean, we're spending close to 15. If we did, it's pretty close to 15,000. We should put a homework in on this one. So the possibility of having him come in and give us the discussion.
Well, meet him there so we can,
Okay, you want to do that?
yeah,
Okay.
see where all these
Cool.
lights and horns and everything else are going.
Yeah. All right. Get his name and stuff is right on there. So we down this, so the budgetary items haven't changed much. Well, that's one thing I was looking at. Remember, I had mentioned before that the last paving budget we got estimate was based upon the prices, and the money that we were offering to put forward to the budget committee was based upon the lower price. And they were at the section that we were looking at doing with the skirting on was it West Range Road was 156, and we're looking at where the old price on asphalt was 162,000. So it's just when we get to the budget committee is to make them aware is that we have that significant 20,000 difference between for the cost of the asphalt, which could crop up if we just go for the absolute bare minimum that it might have cost if we'd done it the day they gave us the quote. That note, 20,000. The procurement policy is still with the attorney. Anything new you want to bring up, Lawrence?
No, I did jack up that container out back there for
Yeah.
this one. That's done, and the culvert on Pine River Road, the beavers have that culvert. I did call Bob this morning.
Yeah.
He was gonna swing by, he had to go to hospital, somebody said he'd swing by and look at it.
All right.
And I haven't heard back, so I don't know if he took care of it or he didn't, but that needs to be cleaned anyway.
And more than likely the beaver should be dealt with because they're going to be plugging it up once the ice
You know,
forms
plug it
too.
again. We did that, we ought to put a fence in front of that.
We always had a fence in front of it.
Okay. Can, so Lawrence,
Fence in front
I'm assuming you've done that in the past.
What's that?
Put a fence in front of the culvert.
Yeah.
Right, so you buy what, the 6-inch square stock fencing that you get down at?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
concrete reinforced wire, yeah.
Yeah. Is it something we want the highway department to do, or is that
Yeah.
something that a willing selectman would do?
You want to volunteer for the job, Henry?
I'm volunteering to help, Lawrence.
Get your weight.
I'm volunteering to help, Lawrence. I've never done it before, so if it's a question of taking some of that, cutting it off and bending it and
Well,
doing.
no, it's just a matter of posting and put the fence in front of the
Yeah.
post, that's all. You
All
know?
right.
It's just so that you can clean the fence.
Yeah,
Culvert gets plugged, sometimes if it gets
Right.
plugged inside, you can't get to it.
right, okay.
Do you know if he trapped any beaver out of there?
We did this earlier this year, we spent
We did,
significant amount of
Didn't
money
we
getting
just-
rid of the fur.
A month ago?
I did,
Yeah,
just a few months ago, we
Yeah.
got beaver out of there.
yeah,
No, I got the impression when Bob was here today that he was going over to there to take care of that.
right, but
Maybe
it's,
he was just going to look at it. No.
yeah, it's just continuing
yeah,
problem.
this morning he was gonna swing by and take a look at it. I don't know if he went
Right.
over after and
Okay.
cleaned it, or no, I
Okay.
don't know, I haven't heard from him since, so I don't know.
All right,
Check with him.
I'll either be talking with him Wednesday or Thursday, I'll ask him a question about that, and then, so basically, what you need, Lawrence, is 4 8-foot steel posts and some fencing.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, and as it goes, Lawrence, yeah, I wouldn't mind, doing it myself, because I have a feeling that if we paid somebody to do it, it's gonna cost us $475.
So are you volunteering this?
Yeah, as close as I can, Lawrence.
All right.
It's on my list. All right, anything else?
That was it, that's all I had.
Okay, and Lenny, before I get back to you, so I don't forget this, we did get, so everybody's aware of this, one of the women on the school board, I'm sorry I did not write her whole name down here, has spent a lot of time working on the 2017-18 school year, so that we will be able to we only have one election next year, the one in November, and that day has been cleared so that the school will be empty on that particular day. I just had this very brief conversation with her on the phone. I had been in touch with Tim Eldridge as a school board member to try to be informed whenever they were having a discussion about this issue, whether we can vote in the school. Lo and behold, you know what they're doing tonight? Having a discussion about that, but this is what's being presented, and it's a schedule. She felt moderately certain that they'd accept this, and that they would probably use this as a system in the future. But as far as this goes, it guarantees that we'll be able to use the school for voting the rest of this election cycle and next November. So there's only the one election next year. It's only a year out, but it's hopeful, so hopefully I'll get a
What about the March election?
We're all set through that. The last agreement at the school
No, you
board
said
meeting.
this is 2017,
Right,
18.
yeah, the school board meeting that was attended, 3 months ago, they gave us permission up through the March election of this year. What I was worried about was the years after that. What this does is it clears us up through at
Was that the
July of 2018.
The calendar year or the school year?
Well, this is, you're running through August.
So this is a school year.
Yeah, school
So
year.
we will have the March.
Yeah, next year, yeah, and this year's, yeah,
Well, in 2018.
right, yeah, yes.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
That include, you
No,
said we only
no,
have
it-
November.
1 here. March 13th is off, yeah, and then November,
We don't have anything in November, just March.
not this year, right. So this runs, you're right, the November election next year isn't covered.
We don't have one next year.
Right, right, there you go. We have the one meeting next year in March, one voting. So all it does is gives us another year's grace. There has been no, what I consider lasting ruling put down by the school board, but they are working at trying to accommodate us. I don't know what happened in New Durham, because they were the other town that had the same problem we did, where there really is no other place that meets the Secretary of State's requirements that we can use. So anyways, that's the end of that. Anything you wanted to bring up, Lenny?
No, I'm good.
Good. All right. Public comment? Okay. Oh, we in the back.
I hate to be the bringer of bad news, but I don't know if everybody's heard that there were two fatalities in Espie on the intersections of 171 and 28 on Sunday. Now, Espie's been wrestling with that intersection for a while with DOT, and I'm here to ask your support for calling New Hampshire DOT. They have a Facebook page, there's phone numbers to call. I know all of us passed through that intersection. An old couple was leaving the courthouse and they blew right through the stop sign, and they were broadsided by a Ford F-350 that was carrying a landscaping trailer. He survived, of course, but the two people in the car did not. So I just want people to be aware of that intersection, to be very careful when you're entering it. We don't know what we're going to do. I had mentioned why not just put temporary signs up on the side of the road, even small, like campaign size signs that say stop ahead, intersection, whatever, just do something. They're trying to get a light up there, but DOT was contacted by the area state reps and the senator, Jeff Bradley, and the commissioner, just through his channels, felt that it wasn't due to the way the intersection is set up, this particular accident.
The DOT commissioner.
Yes, Bartholomew.
So there's actually been a response from them saying that they don't think the place is that bad after this accident?
This was a phone call, so
Okay.
it's not an official response.
All right.
Now, there will be a public hearing. DOT will be, it will not be about that intersection, but the squeaky wheel gets the effect, so you need to, if you could, just get on the phone, call, complain. Maybe they can do something temporary. There's already a light strung across there with a flashing light. Maybe they can do something temporarily with an actual signal, I don't know. But it's a shame that it's taking lives and the state will not move on it. It's never enough. And it's 20-year history of a lot of accidents. So I think the more area towns and residents call DOT, I think we could actually make it happen.
I'm just going to ask, because you're standing in front of everybody, are you speaking as a state representative or as a citizen of Wakefield?
They're one and the same. It's a concern that two people had to lose their lives. Now, of course,
Okay.
if I flip my hat on as state rep, like I told Espie, it's just like, the hell with the state. It's a state right of way, who cares? Put signs up.
Right.
Do something. I even said that why don't we just get a state trooper there, direct the traffic until the DOT can fix it, and then charge the state. And we're not talking about, minor fender benders, we're talking about people losing their lives, and it's a shame.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else from the public?
Yeah, my wife and I go to Water Village Church, and when we came down from the church, we were very distressed to see what had happened, and even more distressed on WMUR yesterday. It told there were 2 killed in the accident, and it's not very nice to see.
Okay.
And they were having a terrible time directing traffic at that time through that section.
Yep.
You're going to be very careful. There's a stop sign at the bottom of that hill. There's a stop sign on the other side. And evidently someone must have drove right through one of the stop signs
Yeah.
and hit that car broadside. It's a terrible thing to see.
Okay. Anything else? In the back.
You should have gotten a letter from the budget committee requesting entrance into a road program.
I didn't see it in this particular week's stuff.
We had made a request at the last budget meeting about entrance into UNH's road program.
Yep.
We've come to find out some other information, so we probably want to discuss that at our budget committee, I would think.
Okay. Since the meeting the other night, you've got more information.
We've found more information, so I would ask you to hold
Okay.
off on that till the budget committee can look at all the information
Okay.
that we have.
Are you aware that this study, if it's the T-squared study out of UNH, was done about 4 years ago?
Yes, 13.
Okay.
Yes, that's one of the things, plus also I dug through my old files, this last select board's scheduled attempt at implementing that,
Yeah,
which is seeing how we're actually using that for the roads
yeah,
and what you're planning on. I know we're not following it, but I know that, I'm not even sure if all of the current board members are aware of this schedule that was put out by the previous board. But this scheduled everything from grading all the way through crack sealing. And I don't know if all the other members seen it, but I'd like to, at least the budget committee, to go back and discuss this before we make that recommendation.
okay, because I know it was discussed at the budget, I did attend the meeting, and when this topic was brought up, the biggest problem that we had when the original study came in was, and I mean the word literally, the prices quoted in the study were grossly inaccurate. And the other thing that was discussed is the possibility in the future, if we adopt a plan and the town adopts it, whether it's through the selectmen, adopt a plan, is that you tie future monies that are given for road maintenance and reconstruction to the plan as a possibility, because I've been around a lot of plans, and if the money isn't tied to it, the first time that you run into a problem, like having a bridge go out, the plan goes out the window.
Melissa has more information on it, but I do know that we're under a time frame to get into that program. We did have 2 openings, I remember she presented that at that meeting, so.
Yeah. And the cost of that was?
I think it was $7,000,
Right.
right, Melissa? Is that $7,000 to get into that?
I think it was, they said 4,000 on the high end for the road study.
Right.
The 10-year plan for the roads. And then $2,000 on the high end for doing the culvert study, which maps all of the culverts and assesses their condition.
So probably if you did the two, someplace between $7,000 to $9,000.
So I was thinking 6
6,
Yeah,
7.
all
on the
right.
high end. They're just
6 to
waiting
9,
for-
okay,
Yeah,
all right,
it's 75% federal funding.
Yeah.
So DOT just has to work out what the town share would be.
yeah. I have a copy of the study. I am actually trying to get through that department at UNH now on this other issue with the Watershed Alliance, and I'll ask them if they've updated their pricing on these plans, you know, because
Maybe
essentially,
interested if the board does have this scheduled to see if you do want to follow it. I don't know if the other members, they weren't on the board when this was
Right.
done, so that may be beneficial that they see this schedule and see if you want to continue down that path.
yeah,
I mean, because this plan that was done in 2013 by their analysis is it's good for 5 years, so we got 2 more years on it, but understandable, a lot of stuff has changed.
right.
When you mentioned 75% funding from the federal, did that mean just the study?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Unfortunately.
no reason not to help Lawrence.
And I had one more question here.
Yeah,
You had mentioned about culverts on Granite Road. And just want to make sure I heard this right. The town put that culvert in at our expense?
3 of them apparently.
what I'm aware of presently is that, yes, the answer to that would be yes, that it was the money that we spent on Granite Road, it was part
Part
of
of
that.
that reconstruction, so
Part of that
$1,000 for a culvert in,
Right,
and then it was mentioned
Right,
that
yeah, and
2
that-
other,
that
2 or
is
3
the-
others were
yeah.
installed also.
yeah. The other ones, I'll get to them in a minute, but as it said, that's what I'm trying to get together with Bob Battles to figure out what portion of the money we spent on Granite Road could be reasonably considered the money that was spent to put that culvert in, and the cost of the culvert itself. But as,
I'm not saying it's wrong or right, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to get the numbers together.
right,
Whether it was
and
right to put them in
as,
or wrong to put them in.
as
I
far
just
as
wanted to-
hearing that we did it in 2 other places, I gotta admit, I was not aware that we put 2 new culverts in.
Right. You good with holding off on that till the next budget meeting, until we
Yeah,
have
just,
anything else yet?
I've been trying to, as I collect information about the road study program and the culvert study, I've been trying to include a lot of people in the email exchanges, so
Yeah.
you can get the responses. It just, I mean, obviously next week we'll talk about it probably at the budget committee again and see if we still wanna keep our vote to strongly recommend that you guys pursue that. I am encouraged that that the software's undergone a major overhaul, and that it actually focuses on short-term as well as long-term projects, and it actually works best that way.
Okay.
So, just, if you could, just keep an open mind about either updating what we have.
Yeah.
And understanding the importance that people are feeling right now of the need for long-range planning, so that it's consistent no matter who's on the budget committee
Yes.
or who's on the board of selectmen.
Yes.
It's really important to a lot of us.
Yeah, no, I firmly believe a degree of rational behavior could be brought into that that doesn't exist right now. I also do assume that in the 3 or 4 years, whatever it is, since we received the report that was done previously, is that UNH has done a lot of work making it more accurate.
Yeah.
More than likely, the recommendations will probably be pretty close to the same that exists in the other one, but the cost might be closer to what the actual truth of it is.
And I would
This is
suggest-
public comment.
I know you said you were trying to get in touch with someone from UNH, is that what you said?
Yes.
I would just suggest, I also tried, but our Mike Izzard at Lakes Region Planning Commission has been an excellent resource. He's the planner.
Okay,
there.
yeah, I know he is,
He's
yeah.
worked with our town a lot already, so. He's easy to reach, email,
Okay.
yeah. Answers any questions.
All right. Any other public comment? Starting at the end.
I'd just like to,
A name and residence,
Oh.
just for the minutes.
John,
Yeah.
John Meisner. I sit here before you many weeks, and Henry, I applaud you for taking everything under your wing, but as I look at these minutes, nothing has been done. Nothing's been completed. It's always, I'll get back next week. I'll always do this. And I applaud you for doing it, but there's 2 other people here. This is like this minute thing. All we do is highlight who's coming in this week.
Okay.
That's different. And also, I'd like to say that, and I'm not scolding you, but I'm saying, this is another example of the left hand does not know what the right hand's doing. You guys have a budget, you guys allocate money for a road, and you don't know that you put 3 culverts in. What's up with that?
Yep.
That's $3,000, $1,000 a culvert. Where is anybody looking at anything? That's just unacceptable. That's fiscal irresponsibility. And now we're gonna have to be paid to put one in, and now we're gonna have to pay to take one out, and if the guy pays $400,000, we're gonna have to put it back in again. What's going on here? This is just unacceptable. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You guys should be really ashamed of yourself, really. Because you're wasting taxpayers' money, the tax rate went up crazy, and you guys are spending money that that half the board doesn't even know what they're spending. Who's watching the store? That's what I want to know. And I look at Henry doing a lot of work, and I look at 2 other people that could be helping out Henry. But the fact of the matter is that we're not transparent. You put 3 culverts in, you tell people you put 3 culverts in. It's just like Lenny said, no, you meet with night security. You're not gonna just look at that thing and say, should we vote for it? No. Lenny's absolutely right.
Well, John, if you'd been here at the meeting of last year, it was brought up that we were gonna put 5 culverts in.
But right here, no one knew that you put 3 culverts in.
It was brought up at a selectmen's meeting that we were putting in 5 culverts on
When?
the ground.
Last year?
Yes.
Come on, Mike, you're talking to me now.
Well, I was there, but I didn't hear it was gonna be on private driveways, I thought. they
It's
were
not on
road.
private driveways. It's in the town right away.
Well, that, if they're attached to a driveway, that's not the town's responsibility, that's the property owner's, that's the way it reads. And culverts actually come under the planning board, we have an overlap there between selectmen.
Then the planning board should have been out there looking at the road
Well,
when
maybe
we
it
went
should have
out
been
to.
included in the discussion.
So
Lack
from
of
now on,
transparency.
when we go to widen the road, we need to take the planning board with us, so the planning board can see what we're doing with driveway culverts.
When you widened the road, did you tell the people you were gonna take part of their property? When you made the banking? Or you just took the banking? You cut the banking?
No, we went over the road with the landowner. I
And you
talked
told
to-
them that you were gonna
I
take part of his
talked to
property.
every one of the landowners on
Uh-huh.
that stretch that we reconstructed.
Do these guys know that?
Of course they know that.
Yes, I do, yeah.
Okay,
I do know he spoke with him. I spoke with a couple myself.
okay. But as of now, these guys didn't know that there was 2 other culverts in there.
Oh, I knew there's culverts in. I ride that road every week. I know where the culverts are.
Okay.
And this is why we raised $15,000 at town meeting to put these culverts in.
I gotta just jump in real quick. I didn't know that, like at town meeting. I thought these were going from one side of the road to the other. This is the
That's
first
right.
I ever remember anybody saying it was individual
driveway.
driveways. That's new to me.
Well, it was brought up at the selectmen's meeting. So if you go back and look at the minutes, I'm sure you'll see that these, where we was putting these culverts.
That's, could be, I just don't have any recollection of it. I've just never heard they were gonna be for individual driveways.
All right, well, everybody's aware of it now, so,
I have something else, Henry, if I could.
public comment?
Thank you, sir. It follows on what Melissa and David were talking about. And Lakes Region Planning is the one that we go through for this road plan, same as the last time. And being on the planning board has the membership there. I felt I should reach out to Michael because I was at these meetings with the budget committee and everybody and hearing what's talked about. So I did have a conversation with Michael for about 45 minutes. I've had several through the course of the year. I've interacted with him for several years. And he explained that there were some shortcomings with the initial program that have been updated. Part of the big problem with even the new program here is that we never had good record keeping for our roads. So it's kind of, what you put in for information to come out with an answer, it gets a little suspicious because you don't have really good information to plug in to factor out the answer at the end. The other thing was this program really doesn't take into account of reconstruction of roads. They don't do core sampling and such. It's more along the lines of surface type things, surface reading and dealing with things in a certain way. It has some functions that are probably good for us. It won't be curing everything. It won't handle all the concerns. But we are putting together a capital improvement committee from the planning board.
Yeah.
So part of that discussion is we had some folks that really know roads well. We were drawing on to join that. And once we have them in place and have a discussion on how we want to look at things capital improvement wise and look at the roads, Michael said he'd be able to come in and address the group, and certainly you folks would be, informed when that's going to take place. But that's also for free consultation. We get so many hours of time from our membership. So Mike said he'd be willing to come in some evening.
So that's road concerns as expressed part of the capital improvements plans underneath the aegis of the planning board.
Well, the capital improvement plan is planning board, like I said, trying to form a committee to work on that. And the road issue was brought up, so it would get discussed. But Mike Izzard would be available to come in once we've had some dialogue about it and explain the benefits and maybe the things that the plan doesn't take into consideration for us overall. So if the board and other members that get involved want to be part of that,
Right.
we have Mike come in and he could probably really give us better information as a group than a phone call somewhere. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's the
plus he
guy.
probably has experience with towns that have tried to apply the plan as provided by the university and how close it came to being right on the money.
Yeah, and that was the thing, we did discuss some towns that are more in our demographic or geographic situation and budget situation. So he had one good example, he said, that really matched up well to us, no highway department, that kind of thing. So he could really, probably answer a lot of questions for everybody and tell us that what really works for us out of it.
Yeah.
Just a really informed decision before we just,
Thank you.
sure.
And I will say, I attended a planning board meeting as a selectman's representative, and they have pretty much wrapped up the auxiliary dwelling unit ordinance. The state has passed down things that towns have to craft on. You know, I mean, granted, this is personal. I really like the plan that they put forward. They worked pretty hard on it. Has the copy been put out in front yet?
You know, I don't think it has, but I will get in touch with Barbara Thompson and make sure that a copy gets to the office.
Okay.
Just so you guys can access it. And we had some requests from outside the community that wanted to see what we put together
Yeah.
as well, so I'm gonna be trying to get.
I think at the planning board meeting, you adopted the draft. I mean,
Yeah.
It's no longer a draft. This is what you're gonna present to the public.
Yeah, I just don't think Barbara had emailed it all
Okay.
to us, the finished copy.
Yeah.
So if I have it, I'll actually just send it forward to anybody who, you know.
Oh, get it to the office, you know,
Yeah.
that's what counts.
Sure.
Okay.
Because, you know, worst case, Barbara is our secretary, so it is, everything does flow through her, so it's available.
Yep.
You know, just, she's our office, so.
Okay. Yeah. All right, anything else, Lenny? Oh, I'm sorry, anybody else? Yeah, yes, Melissa.
The procurement policy that's at the attorney, I heard you say he
Yeah.
still has it. I was just wondering if there's any way to push that, getting the review being done before you go to court on the injunction.
What we could, I have no idea what the court's gonna necessarily ask for, but if the court asks for the draft that we have so far, I'm happy enough to have the court given a copy of what we've started. The one thing that the court could be told is that the town of Effingham is currently working on a policy.
Well, was that sent to Matt?
Yeah.
Has he returned it?
No, not yet.
He hasn't returned
No, and so, but he's, I don't know whether he's gonna be at the court on the 17th or whether or not his assistant is, but they're well versed on what it is that we're trying to craft and what it's gonna establish for the town, stuff like that, so they can let the judge know is the selectmen's response to the concerns expressed by the public, or try to codify behavior in such a way that the same situation doesn't happen again.
Well, I don't know how long he's had it, but it's been a good 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay, well, I can give him a call and see what the timeline is on it. Timeline. Okay, anything else from the public? Yes?
So, I think it was last week at the selectmen's meeting, and there was a conversation about the right to know law and the process, and when there's a form that has to be filled out or when it doesn't, and there was a whole discussion about it.
Yep.
And I may have heard it incorrectly, but I just wanted to double check that I heard that when someone sends a request to the office and that request is fulfilled, then the email gets deleted.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, and I don't expect you to have any answers at all.
Right.
I guess where the red flag kind of went up for me was that there's a record retention law in New Hampshire. It applies to email.
Okay.
Correspondence has to be kept for a year. And like I said, I may have heard it wrong.
Yep, no, I'll check on
I
that.
just want to make sure that we're, everyone, board members, all boards, everybody is archiving things and following the record retention law.
No, I'll check on your concern, see what I find out. And,
Yeah, I just-
under record retention, I'll look it up, but I have no reason to assume that you got it wrong, and if that's what they want us to do, I'll make sure it happens, or try to, my best to
You
make
know,
sure it
and work with the, perhaps whoever your IT person is to,
Right,
on the backups of stuff. So if somebody said, you know, someone could come in tomorrow and say, I'd like to see all the emails sent to and from this office for the last year.
yep, okay,
And could you produce them? I don't know. I mean, that's just one example of things
Yeah.
I've seen people do before.
okay, I'll check.
Okay.
Henry, on what I heard, I could be wrong too, I think Claudia was talking specifically about tax card requests for realtors and stuff. I don't know if that still falls under
Right.
that.
It does. So I just,
Okay. I mean, basically, the concern strikes me as record retention, not any particular record, but record retention in general, right? That's
just,
what I'm gonna look
you know,
at.
given the climate and, you know, people
Yeah.
are paying attention and they're learning more about the right to know law. So I
Yep.
mean, when,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
Anything else? In the back?
Just to recap for the public, the ordinance for the auxiliary dwelling unit, that's gonna go to a warrant article. correct?
Yes, yeah.
Well, maybe. We're going to have.
Well, that's the process.
Yeah.
Let
We
me
have
put
to
it down.
get there first, yeah. Well, we're going to try and put a question and answer out to the public before the January deadlines for that window
Right.
of when you have to have hearings for the public to come in before it goes on to the warrant article. You have, you shoot it down, you
Yeah.
amend it.
Yeah.
But it's our intention to get it out there so we have one more chance to address it if there's any concerns that we've overlooked. And then we'll get it into the January pool for warrant articles to go, be prepared for the warrant article going forward.
Okay. Anything else? All right, guys, do you want to take, we've got to go over the fire department budget with the chief. After that, do you want to look at the mock-up I did on an agreement for spreading roadways so that we can spread more roadways? Because I have it on my computer, we can go over it and just see if there's anything you think is glaringly wrong. I mean, this is literally a very first step I took just to get the conversation going, so.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Fine with you? Okay. I mean, it shouldn't take too long to look at what I have, it's just one page, so. All right, so everybody's aware of it. We do have a discussion with the fire chief to go over the budget, and after that's done, we will be reviewing the policy that we're trying to develop on the deposit of roadways on private property. So you're welcome to stay. But other than that, no other business before the board other than I've mentioned. Lawrence, you all set?
I don't have anything.
Okay, Lenny, you okay? All right, so we'll take a couple-minute break, and then Randy will set up with you and go over the budget. Thank you. Take emergency first. Emergency management, do that first. So trailer hitch was a one-time expense. And generator maintenance, it seems a fairly precise increase of $10.
Yep.
It's just because you've got a quote from the guy, or? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So that's the contracted price for the service for
For the next 2 years.
the next 2 years? Okay.
This is the guy that put the generators in.
No,
He does the inspections.
this is the guy who, it's generator connection down in Barrington. They service the generators.
There's nobody around here, does it?
Nope. We put out for bids 3 years ago and we only got 2 bids.
Well, less than was last year. I don't know why we should be complaining.
Right. Well, the overall bill, yes, right, yeah, right. Any questions on emergency management, Lenny?
No?
Okay.
This is just the one at the station, it doesn't include this one.
For,
Oh, is that for both of them?
yeah,
There's all,
yeah.
Both?
But what?
Both generators?
3 generators.
Yeah.
One at the school.
School.
Oh, three?
Yeah, school, fire
That's
station.
right, school, yeah.
Okay. Before we jump in the other one, just as an aside in emergency management, if our generator's working, but we've lost lines and stuff like that, there's no internet connection, right?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
I said, this is just an aside on emergency management, right? If there's a townwide emergency and we have to kind of use these places as shelters, I'm considering that email connections, internet connections could become very important,
Correct.
right? But all of ours are based on ground line. So in the sense of emergency management, would it ever make sense to have the capacity to start up something that didn't require landlines? I'm assuming that's the option is satellite. Is that something to be worth looking into?
Anything possible. You're right, we have a big emergency, the lines might be like an ice storm.
Right.
Well, the phone line
Fire,
down.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Just something to think about in the future.
yeah.
Or if it was an ice storm, ditch could be iced over, so you wouldn't have it anyway. You know,
I bet, I don't know what it is, I'm just so unaware of this stuff, but one friend of mine just has his regular computer and he plugs a little thing into it and he hooks up to Verizon that way. It's pretty simple. Now, I just don't know if that's an account that might be worth having, the town having in the sense of emergency management, so. But we don't need an answer for that. It's just, I thought maybe in some of the discussions you have when you go to meetings and stuff, it might have been brought up, but,
Oh, no, we never mentioned that.
yeah, all right.
well, the other thing is it even have reception at whichever place you're thinking of?
Correct,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
We won't have any at the Stiff Fire Station.
all right.
No,
Yeah.
you'd
That's
have
a
to
dead
have,
area in there.
you'd have to have cell service.
Right. And all that requires essentially is electricity and a satellite, right?
Oh, if you get a smartphone, you don't even need that.
Right, okay, yeah. See, now you're getting beyond me, you know. All right, we don't need to answer that one tonight. Fire department, fire rescue, disease protection is staying the same, and that's inoculations and stuff?
Yeah, if you want a TB test, what's the other one, hepatitis C,
Yeah.
vaccine, stuff like that. We have to offer it to people.
Right.
Currently, we have 4 applications out, so if they come back and they join, then we're neat, if they want some next year.
And they might say yes, so you
Yeah.
gotta have the money in the budget, and
Yeah.
you're required to offer it, it's not
Correct.
like an option, right, okay. Any questions on that, guys? No? Okay, fire prevention, it's up 100.
Yeah,
And fire prevention encompasses talking with the schools?
yes. We do the school and we do the daycare.
Yeah,
We usually give out handouts for the kids and stuff. We put them in like a Halloween bag, flyers and stuff.
right,
Supplies are running low.
okay,
We have a list of what we need, that's why it went up $100.
okay. And if the budget committee asks, you have a list, you could say, here's what we're wanting to
Yeah, I'll
do.
bring the list.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. Fuel's staying the same. I'm assuming that staying the same is because you had adequate supplies, not so much based upon an anticipation that the cost is gonna stay the same?
Correct.
Okay.
Right now, our fuel, we have $400 left in it.
And I'm assuming that's gas for the vehicles, or fuel for the vehicles as
Yes.
opposed to for heating the building? Yeah,
Correct.
Okay. All right. How close did you come last year to spending all that?
Last year, I wanted to.
Or this cycle?
This cycle, we have $400 left.
Left, okay, so it's cutting it pretty close. And you consider the number of calls and distances we've had to travel is about average, it's normal.
Well, that plus the calls lasting longer, the trucks sit there longer running.
Okay, all right. But you think if 400 is enough of a cushion?
Yeah, so here it is, almost middle of November,
Right,
and we still probably got 3/4 of a tank.
all right,
Worst case scenario, middle of December, you should call up, tell them to fill up with, they have a diesel blend,
yeah,
I mean, a winter blend,
yeah,
so they'll probably put in maybe 100 gallons.
okay, all right. General expenses and supplies is staying the same. Any questions, guys?
No.
Okay, medical supplies, 15, it's staying the same at 15. I'm assuming that's for first responders and stuff like that. Some of this is one-time usage stuff.
Yep.
Some of it is
And
attached to
there's
somebody to get
medical supplies.
sent
Yeah,
in.
medical supplies in their first 10 bags.
Right,
Plus, is it 2 people? One of the persons on now is going through the EMT class, which should be done by January. One of the people who've taken applications, a firefighter one, and just about wrapping up his EMT class, so we're gonna have 2 more EMTs, so let the supply 2 more bags,
okay.
so.
Member compensation is up by 2,000. Particular reason?
Yeah, we're probably gonna go $1,000 over this year,
Okay,
because right now we have like 1,700 left. We still got November, December to go through,
okay,
so. And like I said, 4 more people with applications if they join.
Chad, what are you looking at when you say you've got that much left over?
We're on member compensation,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Okay, all right.
But on here, I got 10/25/16, it says you got 3,400 left over.
That probably doesn't have the current, we just put a bill in for 17 something, so cut it right now.
So this isn't current.
I would say no, I'd say mine's current.
And yours says what?
Mine's
Well,
current.
it's like, you got back to the fuel, you got 960, you said you only got, what, 400 left over?
Yeah, 'cause
Right,
we just got a bill too.
yeah, so you're running 1 or 2 billing cycles
Look at the
behind
top.
on the sheet you're looking at.
Top left corner, it says 1011.
I got 10/25.
You get 1025, right? Mine's 1011.
So in the
Oh, so
Just
just,
medical supplies, this chart I have says you're over by 61.
$61.57.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, Randy,
All right, I'm just trying to check, see if we got the same thing.
yeah, I'll remember to ask you, Randy, when the next figure, I got a mileage of 1,500 and 1,500, and you have, how much of, you have the most recent cost analysis on that, and how
We
much is
still have
left?
685 left,
Okay.
but we still got, I still got a bill to turn in for mileage
Yeah,
and the gentleman taking his EMT class.
okay.
Well, we just had a bill tonight for mileage. Is that the one you're talking about, or?
No, the mileage you got from me was emergency management.
Oh, so there's another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions on mileage?
No.
Mutual aid and dues?
They're staying the same. I
Right,
called all the three
okay.
that come out of the dues, and all staying the same.
Protective gear, we've got a $2,000, well, it's doubled, so
Yeah.
from 2 to 4. And how much of last year's allotment did you spend, or was left over from last year?
$121.
Okay,
The reason it's doubled is because the 2 of the 4 that are joining are already firefighter, one's firefighter 1, one's
Right.
firefighter 2. And we've got to get them gear. The
Yeah.
gear we have now expires the end of this year. That was the problem. We got a grant, 10 years ago for 15 cents a year, but they all expired this
all at the same time.
Yeah,
So does this figure allow for trying to stagger it?
I have been for the last 3 years.
Right,
We buy a set of gear and Parsonsfield buys us a set of gear.
okay,
As part of the deal for covering Parsonsfield.
right,
So we've replaced 6 sets already.
yeah,
And this wasn't counting on 2 people joining.
right.
Because,
So you figure once we sort of have them set in a cycle,
yeah,
so that sort of one outfit or one set of gear goes bad per year, maybe 2 per year, right? That $2,000 figure would generally cover that.
yes, right now, the gear this year costs $18.60, something like that.
Right.
For one person.
One set of gear.
Okay,
That just includes the coat and pants, that doesn't include boots or
gloves. and
helmet,
hat.
gloves.
Okay. 4-inch hose, is that the standard size that's used for most
Well-
purposes? Is-
Yes, we have 3 sizes, we have 1 3/4, 2.5, and 4-inch. The 4-inch is the oldest, so it's been, going bad, blowing the hose.
Right,
We still have 4 links left of the original batch, that
Mhm.
they got back in 1996.
okay,
So if all goes, it's been going, if it continues on, those should be blowing the next time we test it or if we use it.
right. Now, is a 4-inch primarily, just my interest, used for transporting water from supply to truck?
Yes,
Right,
the
okay.
high flow.
So that's how you supply yourself with water, not
Right.
how you deliver it to the fire, right, okay,
Like, gets it to the truck, and from the truck, you use the inch and
Right.
3/4 or 2.5.
right,
So you can hold by hand.
okay.
So that $4,000, how many feet will that buy?
Well, it's $610 for a 100-foot roll. So we need 4, that would give us $2,400, well, $2,500. We also need a couple nozzles for the new truck. Those are like $850 a piece. So,
So it's hoses / nozzles?
Correct.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Ray, I'm asking these questions, my assumption being is that when you, because I put a little bit of a budget committee hat member on when I do this, but I'm assuming that you're comfortable with being able to present the need and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that? Yeah, okay. Background checks, we just did one, and so,
we did one, plus we got 2 more to do.
right,
We just asked for a check for 2 more.
right,
So, let's see. Yeah, so we'll have like $50 left. Like I
Okay.
said, we have 2 more applications out. I haven't got them back yet. So
right,
they might end up on next year's.
okay. Radio expenses. Generally speaking, that's more just maintenance than it is replacement, isn't
Yeah, the radios need to be tuned up every year.
it?
The pagers, that includes the pager batteries and portable radio batteries.
Yeah, replace the batteries?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay,
And how much you got left on that?
Right here, I have 1,600, but we've also ordered 2 more pagers and 3 more batteries.
Okay.
The pagers are like, what do we say, like $490, like 500 piece. So we probably spent $1,200 out of the 16.
okay. So it leaves 400 to 500. Secretary?
Yeah, stayed up the same.
Yeah. Any questions? Okay. Telephone, staying the same. Training's up because of the possibility of new members?
What?
Training's up because of the possibility of the 2 new members or the cost of training?
New members, we're still training on engine 1 and engine 3. The other issues, there's a company out there that's willing to come and train us in they call it an advanced extrication class.
Yeah,
It's for cutting up these hybrid cars, electric cars.
right.
Because on the electric cars, you got a 600-volt cable runs underneath them,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't want to cut it.
Right.
He charges $1,000.
To give that class?
Yeah.
Right. Does he bring a crummy old car to bust up, or?
Well, it'll have to be a newer car because
Well, a crummy new car.
it's going to be an electric car.
Right. All right, so when you look at the training, this isn't the compensation for the people to attend it, it's the possible cost of the class itself.
Yes.
Okay. Because compensation comes out of compensation,
Correct.
right, or whatever the term is, yeah, member compensation. Truck and equipment maintenance, 20,000. How much do you have left now?
3,700.
37.
On the maintenance, if you got 2 new vehicles, they're underneath the warranty, right?
Not oil changes, and we change the oil every 6 months. Even though state inspections now once a year, I still have it done twice, at least the oil changes. And it isn't just vehicle maintenance, this covers the testing of the hoses, our fire gear, our air packs,
Pumps,
pump testing,
yeah. Radio
our
test?
cascade system,
Okay,
the big valves in our cascade system, we're gonna have to go be hydro this next year, 2017. That's like $1,200 a piece, and there's 4 of them. So, maintenance just isn't vehicle maintenance, it's all type of maintenance.
So would you say the majority of it's equipment, it's equipment maintenance instead of vehicle maintenance? For the majority of it, or is basically about the same?
I'd say about 50-50.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like we should be able to cut that if we've got 2 new vehicles and that they're warranted for 3 years, right? At least 3 years,
Is it 3?
isn't it? Well,
I thought
that's what I was told, 3 years.
Okay,
So if we've got 2 new vehicles and they're warranted for 3 years, we should be able to cut that maintenance. Because anything other than what you say, oil changes or inspection, but that's minor, we should be able to cut that figure.
We could.
Well, I suspect anything that's covered under warranty, you get it under warranty,
Correct.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I believe when we sent engine one over to be inspected, there was a light out. They replaced that, they didn't charge us.
Yeah.
Because that's under warranty.
Okay, so you say we should be able to cut that.
That would be the only line I could see that we could actually safely reduce.
All right, in your opinion, how much could we cut that?
Well, so you've got 3,700 left, let's say 2,000 maybe?
Okay, there's a possibility that you go back and look and see what savings might be available from traditional expenses in relation to the fact that we have 2 new trucks. So you're offering right now to drop it to 18,000, but I'm assuming that you're going to figure out whether or not it's as safe as you think it is now to do that.
I could look into that, but like I said, that would be the only line I
Right.
would see safely cutting.
Okay,
For the simple reason we have 3,700 left this year.
right.
And pray that nothing happens to engine 2.
Yeah.
Right, and the only other question I have about that line in the sense of variance is that when a pump is tested after hours of usage as opposed to, January to May, I mean, it's not length of time, it's hours of usage?
No, it's yearly.
Oh, so it's a set of, okay,
For insurance purposes, it's yearly.
okay,
If they're tested yearly.
okay. All right. All right, so you want to make an agreement to take that line and drop it from 20 to 18?
Good.
For now, and then, like I said, I'm making an assumption that you're gonna check that and make sure that it's.
Yeah, I'll call around, see if people are expecting a price increase in like labor or whatever.
Right, okay.
And the other one is new equipment purchases. You budgeted 5 and you've only spent 46.
Where are we?
We spent the gear. That left $3,000 for hose. The reason yours shows low,
I've got that's the trouble, I don't have the current sheet. I got a sheet that says 1025, and I'm showing I got $4,600 left on that.
Which line are you on, Lawrence?
I'm on new equipment purchase.
It's not there,
So you're saying
Yeah.
on that line, you've already spent,
Oh,
we, because of the accident, we weren't sure what the insurance covered, what it didn't cover, so we had to wait. But we have just ordered the new gear, the new equipment. We have to get some more foam because of Kramer foam, so that's 5 pails of $93 a piece. Another roof up for 100. We call it a Halligan bar, it's a crowbar, for 280. And then another one for 612 and another for 610, so that's 12, 15. We spent like 20, I'd say $2,100 out of the,
46 or
Yeah.
5.
well, 21, then we had what, 2 for the year, yeah, so. So if we spent 21, we'll have $500 left in that line. Because my figures show we had $2,600 before we ordered the new equipment.
You got 2,500 and I've got 46.
Well, I don't know where you get 46 because we
Well,
had,
I'm just going off what, this is a sheet that's
Okay, we had-
from the office.
we had $2,000 for gear, which we spent $1,850 something. Then we had $3,000 for hose. which I said we just spent 21. Oh no, there was another thing for 8.
Well, and then you're over on that, if the figures you just give me are correct. You give me 1850 and 3000, and then you spent 2100?
Yeah, we spent 2,100.
2100 you just spent, you're saying?
Yeah.
And you spent 3000 for something, hoses?
No,
2,100.
we didn't spend, we spent 1,850 something for the gear. I don't know where you're getting that 4,600 because we've got 2,000 for protective gear and $3,000 for hose. That is up to 5,000 if you're adding them together.
I don't know, you got different math than I got. 2100 and 3000 is over 5, and you get 1850 on top of that?
I don't know where you're getting your figures.
I'm getting figures, you just told me, you just said 1850,
For the gear,
and then you said
out of
3,000,
2,000.
and then you said 3,000.
We have 3,000 for hose, we did not spend 3,000. We spent 21, plus
Okay.
8 is 29, so we
So
spent
it's
29.
the 3,000 should be 21.
3,000 should be 21?
So,
That's what I'm getting. You're saying that you didn't spend the 3,000. You only spent 21 of it.
Spent 29 of it in all.
Okay,
I
you
just
spent
moved.
29 of it.
Yeah.
So you spent 1850 and 29.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I don't know where that 3,000 come in here, but when you add up 3,000 and 21, it's over 5,000, and you
Yeah.
I show you've got $4,600 left. But yours is, you got a different sheet than I've got.
He's probably right up to date.
So 29 and 18, yeah, you're up there, right. That's close to 5,000. So the only thing I consider that you could cut would be the truck equipment maintenance. And you're saying that the maintenance isn't just for trucks.
Correct.
So you're saying that on the truck and equipment maintenance, you can only cut that $2,000.
I'd say
You're willing to cut it
Yes.
$2,000, I guess is
safely, yes.
All right, and that would bring down on the total line. Previously it was 71,700. It'll now be 72,800.
You guys get doing
What?
math like
huh?
that.
It is 76,800.
So, you're right, 76. Yeah. Thank you.
I got 71.
No, never mind. I'd have to.
71.7, and you go to 78.8,
Hey,
that's 7,100.
77.
Yeah, but he- no.
It'll be 77 is what it would end.
Gonna take 2,000 off
Yeah,
the
right.
78.
It's 76. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Randy.
Can I just, one quick point of order, I don't know if this is included, but if we get this new truck, this forestry truck, and we're moving it down to Station 1, right? I think you're gonna have to increase the fuel line for that because you're gonna have to heat that station. It's not heated right now, because the forestry truck has water in it. So you're gonna have to increase that fuel line.
The fire station on Logs Hill is heated.
Is the heat on right now?
He shut off.
Heat shut off, that's what I'm
You guys saw
saying,
he shut off last year.
because we don't,
It's been shut off for 2 years.
it's been off, yeah. So you're gonna have to turn the heat back on and add to the fuel line for municipal buildings, I do believe. Or does that come out of your,
No,
it comes out of municipal building, right? Yeah, so you're gonna have to increase that line, because now you're gonna have to heat that.
Oh, the ambulance is going up Bullets Hill, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Now that has to be heated.
it has to be heated 55 degrees, because they have medical supplies on.
yeah.
you don't have the figures for what it costs to heat that.
Station one,
Yeah.
like I said, he's been shut up for 2 years, so I have no idea.
Well, it should be less than it was when we shut it off. Fuel
Yeah,
down.
here's going hell.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we have it somewhere.
That'd be.
I'm sure we have the figure somewhere.
Yeah, Claudia down.
Yeah. Okay, so we need to add that back onto this figure here.
No, that goes in
No, that goes in the.
town building.
And,
He comes out of town building. It's not even the fire department budget. The fuel on that is for
This fuel here is just for trucks.
Trucks, yes.
diesel fuel for the trucks.
Okay.
All right. I
So
would,
as I look at this, we're up $5,100 from
Yeah.
the figure we had last year.
yeah,
Yeah.
So can you give us the figures that you spent this year on trucks and maintenance?
Just on the trucks?
No,
the line.
you're saying it isn't just truck maintenance.
Correct.
It's other stuff. Can you give us that figure? So we know when we look at trucks and equipment, we're not just looking at maintenance on a truck, we're looking at something else.
All right. I'll have to get them, because I don't,
Yeah.
I'll have to look, see what they charge us to do with the gear, the hose,
You want a breakdown, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the line item says truck equipment maintenance, but he's saying it's not just truck equipment maintenance. It's got other things there.
it should say truck / equipment. It says truck and equipment,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'll go,
So if you could get that, it would help us.
yep, I'll go through it. And I'll call the vendor, see if they're planning on increasing next year.
Okay. Anything else, Lenny? You?
No?
Lawrence, you all set?
No,
Okay. Thank you.
but we should have an up-to-date sheet put it over.
Today.
So we know where they are.
Keep that. What I'm gonna do, guys, is take this and take a look at it. At the top of this thing, I did email this to you, but I guess it didn't go through because I sent stuff in through the office. But when we're talking about doing stuff on private land.
That's what I get.
Let me see what you got here. Yeah, yeah.
Another thing I'd like to bring up, we put in a special warrant article. We're putting in a grant for $188,000. Can't find the paperwork now. We buy all new portable radios, all new air packs, and revamp the air exhaust removal system of the station because of the 2 new trucks. Yeah, the grant total is $186,550, and the town's portion will be $8,883. So we put in a special warrant article
Yeah.
for that. I've
That's
already-
pretty good leverage.
I submitted to
Yeah.
Claudia already. The only issue we could be raised at the floor is whether they do it out of general taxation, or you want to take it out of the capital reserve.
Right.
So,
You mean the unexpended balance fund?
No.
Oh, your capital reserve,
Yeah.
right, okay, all right.
because it does say fire truck and equipment.
Right.
So that would be,
So it would be, vote to take the matching $8,000 out. But that's not the cost of the grant, that is if the grant is awarded, then we need to.
that's our share.
Yeah, right, okay,
We have to pay 5%.
yeah. Okay,
And
When will you know on that?
thing is, we don't know next year.
Yeah.
I have to have it submitted by the 18th of this month. But it, go to the computer, it's 90% complete, so. Not really.
that last 10% could be,
Well, that's it, it's all the narrative stuff.
Right.
So it's,
yeah, no, Well, 90% of the questions have been answered, but the hard ones
Well,
haven't.
we submitted a grant last year for new radios for 64,000.
Yeah.
We didn't know until June that we were denied, so
Okay.
same thing could happen this year.
All right.
So we have, if I'm correct, we have 20,000 in there?
I don't have it in front of me.
Well, we had
We put 25 in last year,
1231 feet, how much?
25.
I only have 20. We might have, this is the,
Thought at town meeting was 25.
21, according to this,
how many?
21,000 was, budgeted.
In the fund?
No, that's what was budgeted, doesn't give me a total of what's in the.
Okay, yeah. You got 244 and 250 in the truck. I got down 240. I don't know if that's the right figure or not.
It was like 235 and change.
Okay, so we had more than that.
We'd have the $8,000 in there.
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice to leverage 8,000 into what you're looking at.
Are they gonna require a letter of commitment?
No.
By the 18th? Okay.
Oh, because they do this, it's the Assistance of Firefighters grants, and they deal with towns all the time, and there's been times the town's been awarded the grant, and they couldn't get the match, so they turn the money, reject the money, they don't get it till then.
I'm just gonna go.
I'd rather have
make
it approved at a town meeting, you have to hold a special town meeting, do that. The word would be stipulation, if you don't get the grant, then we don't need the money.
So what's our chances of getting the grant?
I think it's pretty good,
Good.
because they judge what you're asking for, they have a list of what's top priority. The radios and the air packs are top priority, because everything we have is outdated. They are obsolete. They still can use the radios we have now. You're not going to be able to buy parts for them after next year. Our air packs have been gone through 2 NFPA cycles, so that makes them outdated. So they're top of the line. The only thing that will knock us down a little will be the air exchange system, or the exhaust removal system. But that's only $9,300 out of the $188,000. Portable radios are $4,000 a piece now. And the air packs are like $7,700 a piece for an air pack.
It was digital or analog? Radios,
Digital.
digital.
They have to be, they call it PF-25 compliant. You'd be able to talk to anybody in the state if you wanted to. So because of 9/11.
Yeah.
Because the police and fire down there couldn't talk to each other. So that's why FEMA stepped in and said, start making radios that everybody can talk on.
Makes sense.
But then it costs a lot of money too.
Right.
Yeah.
State or federal grant? State or federal?
Federal,
Is it a Homeland Security, like the sheriff got?
something like that, it's a firefighter assistance grant. And 2018 is the last year for it, unless whoever we elect as president decides to extend it. It's already been extended once, it's supposed to end back in 2014.
All right.
They extended it another 4 years, so.
That's a toss-up, who's gonna be president, ain't it?
Yep.
Yeah, let's not get into that discussion. All right. Well, there's only one day left. There's only.
5 minutes over, that's all.
All right, Lawrence, the top part up here, it's in italics. It's just my thoughts on this before we got what was underneath it. The actual draft is underneath where it says waste material leveling agreement. So let's take a second and look at it.
my opinion, we're saving the town money by doing this.
Yeah,
So, yes, I know we have to go in and level that out, which is a cost to the town.
right.
But if you weigh that cost of what it costs to level that out
Yeah.
versus hauling that down to the transfer station, there's no comparison.
Right, and my conversation with the municipal association people and what I've been able to look at as far as spending appropriated monies and stuff like that is that as long, you have a very firm, you can't get anybody to say that, yeah, this is legal or illegal. What you can get them to, what I was able to get them to say is as long as you cover your bases, and that's sort of what this document is trying to do, and you can prove, if anybody ever takes you to court over this, is that you did save money. Well, walking up to the judge and going, when I talked to the guy who said it would be this much, is not it. You need it on paper. So it strikes me kind of the wise way to really look at this is to take from the end of Nutter Road and what it costs to have stuff go from there, because everything that comes out of all the dirt roads, that southern part of town is going to come out of Nutter Road or Granite Road if we ever get the bridge back. It's all going to come out of there and then have to get to the transfer station. So if you know what the cost is to haul that material, and when I talk with Mr. Battles, he says, by the time you get a truck from the end of Nutter Road up to the transfer station, dump the stuff and get it back into site, you've pretty much killed about 45 minutes. And so you've got your hourly operating time for the vehicle and you got your labor, right?
Well, yeah, but
Right.
not only that, if you take hauling to the transfer station,
Yeah,
you need 3 trucks versus you only need 2.
Right, because you got-
So,
yeah, yes. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that this is a smart thing to do. All I'm trying to do is make sure is that the selectmen adopt a policy that covers, make sure everybody's doing it straight, so that you have in a public meeting, you discuss with a landowner.
okay, so what we need to do is determine how much material is somebody gonna take
Right.
before we start to do this.
Well, yeah, and
I
that's
mean, if
what you,
somebody wants to load one load, I don't see any reason.
well, not as far as dumping it off, as long, there's 2 ways of doing this. If you're on the list and we're traveling by your driveway and you're the closest one, we'll drop it off. The question is, you could take a lot more, but we need the level to do it. The disadvantage here is that you could take somebody with a really uneven lot, and then over the course of 4 years, they could take as much stuff as they want, and we level it off, we put in more, we level it off, we put it more, and then he puts a garage, and he's got a nice flat lot, and it's worth a whole lot more money than it was. And people could get very upset that happened. So what you need to be able to do is go back and prove, well, we had a public meeting on this, we talked with a landowner, we talked with whoever's the road contractor is at the time, we said, here's the cost savings, and we can be pretty accurate about what it is. And that's in the agreement, is that this property owner agrees to accept material for whatever the agreement is. It could be length of time, any gravel, any waste material that comes off X road for the period of 2 years, right? It could be done on an estimate of the number of loads that would be dropped, which is not my preference, because then you got to keep track of how many got dropped off there. But you lay all that stuff out in a public meeting, and one of the things I put in here is, and it doesn't start until a week after that. So we're at a meeting on the 3rd. The guy comes in, we make the agreement, everybody's happy with it, we sign it. The work doesn't start till the 10th. It gives the 11th. It gives the townspeople 1 week chance to come in and make sure you really did your homework on this. Just prove to me this is saving money, and then we can do it. So that 3 years down the road, when that guy takes a $3,000 lot, and we've spent X amount of money fixing it up, and he sells it for 12 because it's now level, they can't come back at us and say, well, you screwed the town. The town paid for this. No, the town saved money, and we can prove it. So that's all this document is trying to do. Right? So, take a look at it again if you did get a chance, because if you didn't get it in time after I sent it out last week, look at it and we'll go over it. But this pretty much, I think, covers what it is. Down at the bottom, here's what the paperwork that goes with this when you're done is a signed, first thing the property owner needs is a signed copy of the normal waste material, which is an agreement to accept what we drop off, right? Second one is that did you have a discussion with the road contractor? And the conclusion reached there is that this could save the town as much as $70 a load, or whatever it is you want to call it. Public discussion with the property owner. When did you have the meeting? In a public meeting when you discussed the terms of the agreement. And then the the agreement was drafted on such and such a date, and then the proposed earliest start date would be 8 days later. And 1 day after the next week's meeting. And then you have signatures underneath it.
I don't have any problem with it, if it's saving town, if it's saving
Yeah,
the town money.
yeah. Well, I don't think there's been a person in any of these meetings that thinks this is a bad idea. It's just, yeah. All right. So take a peek at that, Lawrence, and just see if there's some word in there you think makes it confusing or anything like that. And then, I mean, we don't need this right away, but we need to get it done. Process on this, and as I said, this part up here, Lawrence, is just my thoughts on it, basically stipulating my concerns is that you could be adding value to a private citizen's land with taxpayer money, and we need to make sure we cover our bases on
Is
this.
that gonna go for everybody though?
Huh?
Is that gonna go for a single load? You're gonna let?
No, we have an agreement right now. This is only for leveling of
Yeah,
deposited
that's what I'm
waste.
saying.
That's strictly leveling.
Okay, supposing we drop one load
Yeah,
on, I don't know where, on somebody's driveway.
yeah.
We're gonna take a loader, a front loader, and we're gonna level that off.
No,
What I just
No.
said, we ought to establish how many loads we're gonna put somewhere before we do
Right.
go in and do
the
that.
only reason that we would level is
Okay.
so we can deposit
No,
more.
I just wanted to say, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
Because if that thing that you got in front of you says we're gonna level it off, and I want to load, and I see the pile there, and I say, hey, Henry, where's the front loader to level it? You
No.
gotta make it even for everybody.
Yeah, no, it's, I put it in part of the original opening
You
statement.
can't set a precedent.
Yeah, the only reason this would be used is because it allows us to deposit more
Sure.
material. It
Yeah,
has nothing to
sure.
do with previously
I think it's a great
deposited
idea.
material. Yeah, okay. All right, but that's a good point, is that this, I mean, this is considered waste material leveling agreement, and this is only to be used in the event that we can deposit more material. I'll make sure that that's kind of phrased in there. Only when.
Yeah, but we still don't wanna get into the situation where we dump one load, we level it, and then we put another load, 2 loads in there, we gotta level it, and then go, we put 3 loads. We ought to establish how many loads we're
Oh,
gonna put
right.
before we level it.
Yeah, that's the agreement that you have that discussion with the landowner in a public meeting. Here's what's gonna happen. You've got X, got X thing and it, they filled up my field, there's 20 loads in there. I'll take another 20 loads if you'll level it. And that's the way you work.
Yeah, set a minimum.
Yeah, right, but you have that discussion in the public meeting.
Correct.
And that way no one can say that you created a crafty deal or anything else. All you're trying to do is save the town money. And Lawrence, you know what happens with good deeds? When you do a good deed? You know
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay, yeah, all right. So this is what we're trying to prevent. Right. All right, yeah, good enough. Anything else, Lenny? Any thoughts on it, or?
No,
Okay. All right, so take a peek if you see something else, like John brought up that one thing, is it's good to define that this only applies if, and I think it might actually do that already, but I'll double check on it, so.
I think all you have to do is add the word minimum. Minimum of 6 loads, 10 loads, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the biggest fear, is oh, wow, this lot was worth 3, now it's worth 9, and I didn't spend a dime to do it.
Yeah, but you save the town 20.
Well, if you can prove it, yeah.
Well, that's what you're gonna have to do.
Right. Yeah, I talked with Bob about that, Lawrence, and one of the things is the efficiency of the loader too, is how many trucks you need so that the loader isn't sitting around waiting a half hour for the next truck to show up. And the shorter distance you have to travel, the fewer vehicles you need to use, so. Yeah, because he was saying to me, he was driving stuff 4 minutes down the road, so he only had that one truck there.
That's
But,
right.
Yeah, right, and that's where the real savings starts to come up. So Lenny, if you don't have anything else, then you've got a motion in your pocket.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second
To
that.
adjourn, and it's been seconded, all those in favor? Aye. All right.